So, should you invest in a limited company? Property investment 2021-2022, is a limited company the best vehicle for you? I'm going to give you all the information you need to know to help you make up your mind in today's video. So guys, welcome back. Today we're talking all things property investment, property tax, limited companies, ownership structures, and much, much more. Before we kick things off, make sure you are giving this video a big thumbs up. You know, most of you regular viewers, you've seen the content before, you know this is good stuff. Give it a thumbs up, and also make sure you hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on so you don't miss out as soon as we post more brand new tax saving content. So, property investment. Should you buy a limited company? Should you buy in your own name? This is one of the most asked questions in the community. Speaking with property investors, people want to know about this time and time again. Well, before we dig into that, we'll kind of go back a step just to see what the different ownership structures are and why you should even be considering one over the other. So most people, when you're new to property investment, you want to know the most tax efficient way to structure your property portfolio in order to minimize the amount of tax you pay. Of course, who doesn't? Now, getting these fundamentals right is a massive, massive thing, and you shouldn't basically take it lightly. You need to look at what you're looking to achieve from business, look at where you want to go, so you can determine which is the best for you. Historically, landlords used to just trade for their own name for the most part. Many people used to just buy property in their own name. You would have to do a self-assessment tax return each year, declaring all of your rental income, less your expenses, all your allowable expenses such as mortgage interest back then, and you pay tax on the profits. This was fantastic. You could build long-term income and basically be relatively tax efficient in the meantime. However, what happened in 2015 was the Chancellor of the Exchequer basically changed things around, and especially how mortgage interest is treated for tax purposes. So as I mentioned earlier, for tax purposes, mortgage interest used to be fully tax deductible, just like on any normal expense, just like your letting agent's expenses. If you had £100,000 of rental income, £20,000 worth of mortgage interest and £30,000 worth of other costs, your profit there would be £50,000. It makes sense. It's a business expense. However, what happened was they changed it. It was gradually phased in, but essentially that mortgage interest was no longer tax deductible, in which case those profits which were previously £50,000 pre the Section 24 kicking in are now £70,000. And then what you get is a 20% tax credit equal to the mortgage interest of £20,000. Being a £4,000 tax reducer. This is fine for a lot of people, especially where you're a lower earner, but for people who are higher rate taxpayers, you're now getting a 20% tax credit, but you're paying 40% tax on the profits. So basically your tax bill has gone up a significant amount. For people who are near the high income child benefit charge borders, the personal allowance, the £100,000 limit where your personal allowance starts to taper away, the tax consequences were significant. And as a result, people started looking at different ownership structures, such as limited companies. Now, with corporation tax going at 25%, is a limited company still the best way for you? Well, it comes down to a variety of factors, of which we're going to run through in today's video. So, owning properties in your own name. As we've mentioned, since 2015, and basically it's been gradually phased in, it has become less favourable because mortgage interest has been disallowed. But that doesn't mean you should completely overlook this, because for a lot of people, owning property in your own name is probably still the best way to go. You won't hear many other accountants telling you this. Why? Because they want to set you up limited companies. They want to make more money out of you. Limited companies, you have to pay much more on accountancy fees. So this is probably why your accountant is telling you to invest in a limited company without giving you sound advice and basically backing it up with tax calculations. If you're just looking to grow a modest property portfolio and basically keep your income in that basic rate threshold, then on average, you are going to be better off in your own name. A couple of reasons for this. The first is that corporation tax is going up. So the tax limited companies pay is increasing from April 2023. And especially where you're looking to live off your rental income, where you've got a limited company, you have to pay tax again to bring it out into your own name. And the biggest one here really is where you're still a basic rate taxpayer, you don't have any high income child benefit charge, you're in your you're in your basic rate band comfortably, you're utilising your personal allowance, all those kind of things, your mortgage interest is effectively still fully tax deductible. So yeah, I said that right, effectively your mortgage interest is still fully tax deductible. So remember I said earlier, It's disallowed when it comes to calculating your profits, yep, but you get a 20% basic rate tax credit. If you're a basic rate taxpayer, you're only paying 20% tax, so it equals out. That's something you need to bear in mind. So for people that are, say, earning £25,000, £30,000, they want to get a couple of buy-to-lets in the pipeline, kind of plan ahead for retirement, but they don't want significant property businesses. They don't want the stress of having 30 HMO rooms, all of that kind of stuff. You just want 5 buy-to-lets, £2,500 a month profit. That is where you're probably going to be better off in your own name. Finance costs are also cheaper. You still look at around 1% cheaper in your own name compared to a limited company. Your accountancy fees are less. On average, accountancy fees can be £1,000 a year upwards for a limited company. For self-assessment tax returns, you're looking at less than half of that, depending on the number of properties you've got or the complexity of your tax return. So these are some factors to massively bear in mind, because if you just went ahead and set up a limited company, you put 1 or 2 properties in there, the chances are most of your profits from the properties are actually going to be eaten up in accountancy fees. You then want to draw the money out personally. You're going to have extra costs from a tax perspective in terms of salary, dividends, interest, depending on how you take it out. So if you are looking to just grow a modest property portfolio with £2,000-3,000 a month, you don't want anything more than that, then definitely explore going down the own name route. Because, as I've mentioned, the tax savings, you probably are going to be better off from a cash flow point of view, from an actual cash tax point of view, in your own name than in a limited company. If you're husband and wife as well, you can look at having a property partnership, which means you can spread the profits between each taxpayer. If one's got a part-time job, one's a higher rate taxpayer, there are opportunities around that by investing through your own names. So definitely do not dismiss investing in your own name, because a lot of people have done, and now they've got limited companies set up with 1 or 2 properties in there, and as a result they kind of feel trapped because the tax consequences of getting out of a limited company are not pretty. It's essentially more stamp duty, corporation tax on the capital gain in the company. But limited companies aren't all bad. We're now going to run through why you should look at investing in a limited company. So limited companies, why should you consider them? Well, the main thing here is when you're looking to build long-term wealth through property. So if you've got a well-paying job at the moment, you're earning 40, 50, £100,000, if not more, where you're in this situation, because you're already a high rate taxpayer, you are going to be hit with the Section 24 in terms of you're going to be paying that extra tax on the mortgage interest. And if you don't want the income to live off now, you'll be paying tax at over 40% on that income when you factor in the mortgage interest tax relief not being available. So when you're in this situation, having a limited company where you can put your money in as a director's loan, have the company buy the properties, it will pay 25% tax profits, but there is a small profits threshold, 19%. Check out my other videos for that. We've done a complete deep dive on that topic. So 19, 25%, whichever of those rates it falls into. And then what's going to happen with that money is it's going to stay in there, and it's only going to pay that much tax. So if you've got your employed income, you know, if you've got a promising young career, you're 30, 40 years old, you know you want to be working for the next 20 years, you're happy doing that, you just want to build up property as a long-term nest egg, your pension pot, having this limited company is going to be a fantastic solution to that, because you've got to put your money in as a director's loan, it will pay the tax, and then you can just keep reinvesting the property profits to keep buying more and more properties. And then later on down the line, when you've left employment, you can start to withdraw money from that company. If you're overseas, you might even pay any tax on it at all. So that's definitely kind of where it comes into it. And another fantastic example of when having a limited company is great is if you've already got a limited company. So if you've got a limited company that's a trading business, and you don't want to pull the money out personally to invest in property, because you're going to do that to meet your day-to-day living expenses, chances are higher rate taxpayer again already, but you want to use the money in the trading business. It's generating healthy cash flows. You want to invest it into property. You could look at setting up another limited company and potentially doing some kind of loans or a group structure. Basically, there are tax efficient ways of getting the cash from your trading business over to your property investment business without paying any tax. This is another option when it comes to setting up limited companies, and it's a fantastic tax efficient way of doing it. So there we have it. There are some definitely pros and there are definitely cons of a limited company, but for a lot of people who just want some passive income, a couple of £1,000s a month, don't just rush into a limited company. do some analysis, do some tax forecasts over the next 5-10 years, see what your tax bill is going to be, get some clarity on where you want to end up, speak to an accountant, get some professional advice from a chartered tax advisor at the end of the day. That's what you want to be speaking to, because they know the tax laws, they know the tax rates, and they can do the calculations for you. So there we have it, guys, a completely independent and honest view as to whether you should buy property in a limited company or your own name. This is correct as of 2021 and heading into 2022 as well. This is sound knowledge that we're sharing here. Essentially, just to recap for those that fell asleep during the video, if you're basically looking to have a couple of £1,000s, you're a basic rate taxpayer at the moment, chances are own name is the best for you. When you consider mortgage interest as well, the accountancy fees, it's going to be your home run from that point of view. But if you are looking to grow long-term wealth, you're a higher rate taxpayer, you've got other businesses, chances are a limited company is going to be the best for you. As always, tax is not a one-size-fits-all solution, so definitely do more research and get some advice. If you find this video useful, please make sure you are giving it a big thumbs up and also make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. Bye for now.